and she's been covering this Kirkwood lockdown story since then. Good morning, Jessica Bock from STLTODAY.com and the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Good morning. It's a pretty convoluted story, which is why you're here to sort of explain it all to us. The Channel 5, from what I understand, is standing by their story, correct? They're not apologizing for anything, right?
Well, I watched the newscast last night, and there was an apology in there. Lisa Zigman said on the air they are sorry for any, harm or panic they caused. But if you watch the report, they are, pointing out lapses and problems they saw at Kirkwood High School. And I think, they still feel this is a really valid story, that they're being blamed and people are overlooking the issues that they were trying to raise.
Yeah, let's stay on Channel 5 for a second, and let's look at it from what they were trying to do. They were doing a story on the safety of schools, and they were stopped at all the other schools except for Kirkwood, and their photographer, John Kelly, was allowed to roam the halls for a while, and no one stopped him.
Right. But you know what? That wasn't surprising to me. Just going out on my regular assignments, I could have told you that probably would have happened at Kirkwood High School. I mean, there are varying levels of security at our schools in the region, and they're especially tighter at elementary schools. I know there are probably high schools where the door is locked and there are much more tighter security, but I bet there are, high schools where it was the same instance.
Right. And this is hard because you're a journalist, I'm in the news media. Did Channel 5 should they have said, hi, the reporter, John Kelly, when he met up with this secretary, did he not identify himself as a Channel 5 reporter, or what did he say first?
He gave a name. He didn't identify himself as being with Channel 5 or a member of the media.
But then when they called him, he said in his voicemail that he was with KSDK Channel 5.
Right. And so there's one detail that I think a lot of people are overlooking, and I think it helps understand Kirkwood's point of view on this. When he was in the office and they were trying to locate the school security officer, he asked for directions to the bathroom and then left. And what really raised their alarm was the fact that when he walked out of the office, somebody saw him go the opposite direction of the bathroom. And then suddenly they're thinking, wait, what's going on? Where is this guy really going? We have his cell phone number. Let's try to call him. And he doesn't pick up. So they hear KSDK in the voicemail and think, okay, there's a good chance this is the TV station trying to do some sort of test and story. But there's also a chance that, this could be somebody out to do some harm.
Right.
So I think that delay, there was an hour delay between when the man left the school and when they started the lockdown, was really unique to the circumstance because they heard KSDK in the voicemail.
Right. So they called Channel 4 or Channel 5, and Channel 5 would not give them an answer, correct?
Right. I talked to Ginger Casey with the Kirkwood School District, and she was frantically calling. She did reach somebody in the newsroom. They couldn't give her an answer either way, and she kept being put in, I don't know, maybe, a news director's voicemail or something, and couldn't get an answer. And she said that she told them, if you can't tell me that this was a test, I'm going to have to go into lockdown. And she got no response. I think she did finally get a call back once they were, locked down for like 40 minutes.
Right, to saying yes.
She said, it's too late.
Right. Okay, now let's look at this from Kirkwood's point of view. Are there high schools that are in a secure mode where you can't just walk down the hall?
Oh, yeah. I think if you go into Marquette High School, and I'm just going off of memory,
sure,
the door's unlocked, but there's somebody seated at a desk right there. And the intent is, making sure people are in the building are supposed to be and that they're going where they're supposed to be and not sort of wandering the halls.
Right.
So it really does vary. Most elementary schools I go into, yes, you're being buzzed in. The office is looking for you right when you come in, or there's somebody seated there. And that's just the nature of, having smaller children in the school. At a high school, you've got kids who are coming and going for various reasons, valid reasons. Maybe they're doing a career education program, or maybe they have open lunch or something like that, It can just really vary.
So Kirkwood, some people are saying, well, wait a minute. Some random guy is walking down the hall. They get nervous. then it takes them an hour to lock down. If it were, God forbid, it was something awful, they should have locked it down immediately.
Right. Yeah, and I think as part of their review, that's probably one thing they're saying we made a mistake with, that we should have just locked down immediately. But I also think you have to give them the benefit of the doubt and think about this KSDK situation. It's just a really unique circumstance, and I believe that, this was a worthy story to do. I just wish they could have done it a different way, because all of the anger is clouding any issue they raised, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, a parent whose kid was locked down for 40 minutes has a hard time seeing the forest through the trees. All they know is their kid was terrorized for 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Right. But like you said, there are a few parents out there who are saying, well, now wait a minute. Why was this able to happen? So I think it just all comes down to, what the school decides they're comfortable with as far as their security measures.
Channel 5 has only spoken through their newscast, right? They haven't made any other attempts to come out and defend themselves or talk with you on a telephone or a conversation like that or anything like that, right?
Right. I didn't get a call back from Mike Shipley yesterday. I was kind of watching them on Twitter, and they were really silent even when people were just hammering them. So, I think they wanted to come out and do their story and hope that people would see that they were trying to raise issues here. But like I said, if they had found a way to do the story differently, they wouldn't have had as much anger
right.
they're facing right now.
Is the reporter going to be brought up on any charges?
I don't know. That's a really good question, and I can't tell you if there's signs posted in Kirkwood High School that say, you must go to the office immediately, or even how that would play out. I think that's a question for the Kirkwood police, if there's anything that they could try to charge them with. I think we mentioned one situation in our story where people were charged because they didn't follow the signs in the building, and the laws there are probably more strict. I'm not sure. But, there's just so many issues here, and that's what made, we've seen a lot of these lockdowns lately, and they tend to be just small little blip incidents that are explained, but this has just really become something so much larger.
Kirkwood has also said that, hey, if you would have tipped off the police and said you're doing this, we wouldn't have had a problem with it if you would have tipped up to us. But, I mean, you don't really do undercover journalism by saying to the suspect or to the subject, hey, we're going to try and, do this undercover thing, so watch out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have no idea how the police would have reacted to that. I'm guessing they may not have gone along with it and alerted Kirkwood High School.
Right.
I just feel like maybe in your day-to-day work as a journalist, you can kind of gather these situations as you see as you're coming and going from different schools and bring up issues that way. Or maybe, I talked to a journalism professor at SLU yesterday, and she said, are schools testing this themselves? Are they sending some of their staff in, maybe in disguise or unknown to the staff there and testing security measures? Could they have tagged along with them that way?
Yeah.
I don't know if they do that, but that's a really good question to ask.
Jessica Bock with us from STLTODAY.com. This reporter, John Kelly, did he go to other high schools or did he go to other elementary schools?
They were all elementary schools. The other 4 schools were elementary schools.
So he went to 4 elementary schools and 1 high school.
And Kirkwood High School. And then the report, they said Kirkwood High School, was the one that failed. And that's where I started to take issue with the way they went about it. I think
it was apples to oranges.
Right, yeah. And, try to compare another high school and see if the same thing happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Great point. Jessica Bock, you'll have more on this on STLToday.com throughout the next couple of days, I'm assuming?
Yes, we will.
Jessica, great work as always. Thanks for taking time for us this morning.
Yeah, you're welcome.
STLToday.com, also on your front doorstep, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch reporter Jessica Bock, normally educational reporter covering this for the newspaper.